Hello, Wolfpack. Analyzing Zilliqa today. Zil USD. We're going to be looking at the charts. I'm going to look at Zil because I find it interesting, right? This chart's been trending on Lunar Crush. Lunar Crush is essentially a website in which it tracks the social volume in relation to price action for coins. So you get to see what's kind of trending in the crypto market, and it's very useful. I use that quite a bit. And Zilliqa has been trending for honestly a week straight, right? This coin has a lot of popularity for reasons of which I don't really understand. I'm not saying the coin's bad. I'm just saying it's kind of a random coin. You'd think a top 90 coin wouldn't have that much popularity, but essentially it does. And the price action isn't really reflecting that, which is another thing I find interesting about it. But it doesn't look bad, right? It doesn't look bad. We can see Zilliqa, and this is something I want to bring up first things first. Released onto the market in late January 2018. So it actually just missed the peak of the altcoin season. It hasn't actually seen a bull market, right? It hasn't actually seen a bull market. You might think it has, and you look at this chart for a second and you take a glance and you'd see, well, this is obviously a bull market here. This high here that I'm pointing out right here between April and June was actually a dead cat bounce, right? It's a dead cat bounce. And what we actually would have seen on Zilliqa if it was around during the actual bull market itself is something like this, right? It'd go to a point of which I'm not too certain where it'd actually go, and then it would drop down, right? Because we saw Zilliqa actually coming onto the market just a week or two after the market topped out, so everything was dropping at that point. That's why it dropped straight away, and then this bounce here was a dead cat bounce. This Bitcoin kind of had a dead cat bounce and then fell down into a bear market, right? So, contrary to popular belief, we haven't actually seen a bull market on Zil. Very important to understand. That's a problem, right? That's a problem because we haven't seen a bull market on Zil, and therefore we can't get any accurate fractals from a previous bull market to extrapolate and hence make a price prediction that's going to be accurate for Zil. So we don't really have an accurate price prediction for Zil. We could take our estimate here. We could just make a quick estimate. We could say, well, Zilliqa reached a price of around 26 cents while Bitcoin reached 64K. And assuming Bitcoin goes to my price target of 113K, which is just less than a double, and Zilliqa outperforms Bitcoin by 50% in that time period, we can assume that Zilliqa will probably go somewhere around 30% upwards to a price point of around 60 cents, right? That's a rough estimation, right? That's a rough estimation. It's not meant to be taken as gospel at all because quite frankly, it looks pretty unachievable, right? We could see for us to reach 60 cents from here, we'd literally have to do this, right? Assuming the altcoin season ends in the end of January, which is when I'm expecting it to end, the very end of January, that still looks, relatively sharp, unrealistic in a certain extent. I think it could happen, right? I think it could happen. Obviously, you can't deny that when the altcoin season comes, it will be very parabolic. But the point is, I don't think we should be making price predictions on Zil for the longer term because I simply don't think we have enough data, right? We just don't have enough data, and honestly, I don't know enough about the fundamentals to actually make that target. But no doubt it will go up. No doubt it will go up. That's my personal opinion because I think the market's going to do very well. But I think that's a rough estimation, 60 cents. I think it could reach around that zone. But just looking at the chart right now, it looks optimistic, right? It looks optimistic to say the least, but who knows? It might catch some attention for sure. If we look at the daily chart, and this is the main thing I want to talk about in this video, I'm not too interested in the longer term because, as I said, we haven't seen a bull market on Zil, so we don't have much data to extrapolate. But no doubt, coming back to this price prediction, no doubt we will be probably, if we do see an altcoin season, taking into account the amount of social volume that Zil has in terms of, community and how many fans it has, we will no doubt be breaking this 26 cent barrier, in my opinion, if we do see an altcoin season. That's pretty much a given, right? And then from that point, if we enter price discovery, it wouldn't be too optimistic to say 60 cents is in the table, right? It wouldn't be too optimistic. On the daily chart, and this is what I want to talk about, as I said, Zil's acted very interestingly, right? Zil's acted very interestingly. I've looked at Zil for a while. I've looked at it since the start of the bull market. And when we came down in May, I was very much expecting Zil to bottom out here at around 6.5 cents to around 8.5 cents, but it actually went below that, right? It went below that, went to 5 cents, which makes sense. 5 cents, a bit of a psychological support zone. We did see that even when we were forming this green support box, we did drop down to around 5 cents on multiple occasions. So it makes sense in hindsight, and we bounced off of that region, and we have this long-term double bottom, right? And obviously, once you see a double bottom, the most logical direction to go is upwards, right? And we are going upwards because what we're seeing now is actually a higher low formed on ZIL. And what we're seeing within that higher low is an inverse head and shoulders formation, right? We're seeing the inverse head and shoulders formation, and logically the next move would be to come back up to the neckline, and the neckline is here at around 14 cents, right? So that's what I'm expecting in the coming weeks on ZIL, is to come back up to that neckline. As for indicators, we can look at the Gaussian channel. We can see that's acting as a kind of resistance spot, right? We are seeing some resistance. We are seeing some, some fighting against the bears to push us over this Gaussian channel. Once we get over this Gaussian channel, which I think is going to happen within the next few days, we should have no problem forming the rest of this inverse head and shoulders and coming up to 14 cents for a test of that region. Possibly a quick pullback and then a breakout to the upside, right? I don't see why that won't happen. By around mid-November, we should be back around 14 cents, in my opinion. If we look at the VVPR, we can see that this green support box here is acting as a major support box. We can see we've actually got the point of control here at around 8 cents. So if we drop back into this green box, which we've already done, so we don't want to see that happen again, because we have seen a shorter term higher low as well, right? But if we do that, it looks likely that that will be our bottoming out zone, and hence there's not much risk to this trade, right? The downside is we'll probably go, the downside if this happens is we probably go back down to 8 cents, which is, not much of a loss, right? From 9.7 cents, 8 cents is only a loss of around 13%, and then bounce from there. And the upside is, going way past 14 cents. We'll measure a move in a second. So it seems like it's a pretty good risk reward ratio for ZIL. We can look at the SMAs before we get some patterns drawn out. We can see that what we're seeing on ZIL is very interesting, right? Because we're seeing every single SMA we have here, the 100, the 12, and the 26, all kind of flat lining on the current price. And what this signifies for ZIL is that a sharp move is on the way with the direction of the market, with how everything is going, and with what I've just said with the inverse head and shoulders. It looks like that breakout's going to be to the upside, as I said, within the next few days, possibly within the next week, like at the most a week, right? And that will be finishing off that inverse head and shoulders pattern. Looking at the pattern itself, we have two separate patterns we're seeing here on ZIL, right? We could say we're seeing a cup and handle formation, and we could draw that out right now, right? We could say we're seeing a cup and handle from around June, and we could draw that all the way to around September. We can pull that cup down, and then the handle would be from here in September, coming across all the way down. And we could actually draw it so it wicks there in October and current prices. So we're still within that handle if we draw it like this. And we could draw the handle like that, right? Clear cup and handle formation. We've tested the bottom a few times, tested the top a few times. If we get a price target from this cup and handle formation, we can take, and this is one of many ways to measure a price target from a cup and handle formation, but we can take the bottom right-hand side wick on the bottom of the cup to the first test of the top of the handle, and we can extrapolate that to a proposed breakout point. As I said, I think the breakout's going to be happening within the next few days, so I'll put it a few days away, and we can see that the price target for the cup and handle formation is around 19 cents by the start of December. 19 cents by the start of December, so essentially a 2x by the start of December. It seems like it could happen, right? It doesn't seem too optimistic at all, especially with how the market would be going. The reason why I'm not going to say it's going to go higher than that by the start of December, and a lot of people are ultra bullish in the market right now, is because I don't think altcoins are going to be performing excellently until late December, early January, or mid to late January, because that's when altcoins typically perform in bull markets, right? Think about it. If Bitcoin breaks its all-time high, goes to 100k, goes to 120k, whatever it may go to, right? All of the attention is going to be on Bitcoin, so everyone coming into the market is going to be buying Bitcoin. It's only when Bitcoin tops out and kind of ranges at a certain price point that altcoins perform, and that that's after Bitcoin tops out. So we're speaking January at that point, and that's a time when Zilliqa will go. Zilliqa will go kind of exponential, as with most altcoins, to the upside, right? But the cup and handle formation does stand 19 cents by early December. That makes sense to me. We can remove this cup and handle, and then we can draw our other pattern that we're seeing on Zilliqa. And that pattern would seem to be some sort of triangle, right? There's many ways we could draw this triangle. I'm going to draw it the most simple way, right? I'm going to take it from September. I'm going to draw down this triangular pattern. And I'm going to take this low here at July, and I'm going to draw it to the upside. And then we can see a few kind of tests of that range here. Let's remove this so we can see this a bit better. And we'll bring the edge of this triangle back in. And we can see that right now, currently, we were actually attempting to break out of this triangle, because what we have seen is we've just seen a test to the bottom of the triangle, and hence the next logical move is a break to the upside, right? After we see a test to the bottom, we need to test the top. We're testing the top right now, and given the fact that all of these SMAs are converging, it means that a breakout is imminent. I think that's going to happen to the upside, right? If you want extra confirmation, you'd probably be waiting for a breakout to happen, and most notably waiting for this 10-cent resistance to break. Once 10 cents breaks, then we can be looking to enter this coin, right? We can see if we draw a target from this symmetrical triangle formation from around July here to the top of the first test for the top of the triangle, we can extrapolate that data and bring it to the breakout point, or the proposed breakout point, and we can see that actually, let's move it down here a little bit. We can see that just like the cup and handle formation, right? Exactly the same. The price target is 19 cents. All right, so this isn't a coincidence. All right, this isn't a coincidence. We have two separate patterns indicating that 19 cents is the target for Zilliqa, right? We have the cup and handle formation saying that will happen by early December. We have the symmetrical triangle formation saying that that will happen. It doesn't give us a time range, right? So I'm still going to think that early December, 19 cents is in the charts for Zilliqa, right? Sorry, I keep saying that wrong. Zilliqa, right? Zilliqa, 19 cents is in the charts for Zilliqa by early December. We've got two patterns suggesting that, and we've got a lot of the indicators suggesting a breakout is on the way very shortly. We can look at the Bitcoin pair and get a bit of a long-term perspective on the Bitcoin pair for those of you who trade the Bitcoin pair. And we can see that, you know, obviously we're probably not going to reach this all-time high, right, on Zilliqa. That's 2,700 sats. We're currently sitting at 160 sats, right? It doesn't seem likely that we'll reach this all-time high, but what we can do is we can zoom right in here on Zilliqa and see and see that, you know, we're currently testing a support zone right now at around 160 sats. We're sitting on top of that right now. So it is a potential bouncing range. You know, if we do see that breakout to the upside, you know, within the next few days, as expected, we could be bouncing right here, or alternatively, we could be bouncing at around 130 sats, and that ties into the same ideology, right? If we do see that bounce for the next few days, we could be depreciating until that point, and then when we bounce, we could start moving to the upside. Until like January, right, I'm expecting a slow trek to the upside, and then in January, as Zilliqa makes its big move, we can spike up here somewhere. I'm thinking at around 600 sats to this, you know, between 600 sats and 449 sats. It will go higher than its previous all-time high for this cycle, right? A local high for this cycle, but I don't think it's going to go back to all-time highs, right? It doesn't usually happen like that for altcoins that have been around for multiple cycles, right? There's simply less altcoins in the market, less money spread in more places during this bull market here we saw in Zilliqa. So, you know, it doesn't seem likely that we'll go back to all-time highs, but we'll definitely be making cyclical highs on the Bitcoin pair as well if it does perform how I'm expecting to perform. And I have that evidence supporting from Lunacross, which is telling me on a daily basis that Zilliqa is a pretty popular coin, right? And pretty popular coins tend to pump. So that's what we're looking at for Zilliqa. You know, 19 cents by early December. We've got potential trading patterns taking place there. So go ahead and draw them out on your charts. Wait for a break of 10 cents. If we do close above 10 cents, that will probably be as good of a, you know, an entry point as you're going to get on Zilliqa. And, you know, set your stop losses down here at around, I'd be setting it around 8 cents, 7.5 cents in that support box. If we go below that point, it's pretty likely the bull market's going to be over, at least for the short term. I don't think we're going to go below that point again. I think we'll probably stay at current prices, maybe come down and test this triangle once again, but I'm ultimately expecting us for a breakout to the upside here on Zilliqa. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.